Welcome, I'm Amanda Honig, and I'll be your tour guide as we follow this travel adapter from the factory floor to your front door. In this journey, we're going to be bringing to life Zebra's strategic pillars of asset visibility and connected frontline, with the goal of helping you better understand just how Zebra is the foundation for intelligent operations and the many opportunities that you have to deploy Zebra solutions to make everyday life better for our customers. Our journey starts in the connected factory. It's connected because this factory is using Zebra solutions to enhance their visibility, augment their workforce, and optimize their quality. So let's see what this manufacturer did. Our Oxford study showed that material handling is the #1 challenge facing manufacturers today. They cited inventory accuracy and the flow of goods through the workflow as top challenges. So let's see how this factory leveraged Zebra's technologies to improve accuracy and improve throughput. This is the PCB that's inside of our travel adapter. We've tagged it with a Zebra certified supply. This is a high quality label that's been tested for performance and for compatibility with our ZT610 micro label printer. This printer can print out these very high resolution micro labels at very high speed, as small as 3 millimeters high. It's about the size of a grain of rice. And now when we tag the PCB board, we've given this a digital voice, which is the foundation for traceability. This is how we're helping to improve inventory accuracy. Now let's see how we're improving the flow of the process. Haley, our technician, is using the DS4600 to scan these very small, high-resolution labels. We see a visual verification on our ELO iTouch series Android computer, clearly telling her that that's a good PCB that can go out on the manufacturing line. When she scans another board, she's presented with that being a failed item that needs to be recalled. So we can put that to the side and make sure that it doesn't go out onto the assembly line. Now that we have our good boards in the tote, we're using our ZT and RFID printer to print on and encode these RFID labels so that we have traceability of those boards and that tote as they move on to the assembly line, which is where we're going next. Our raw materials that have been verified have now made it to the assembly line to get built into a travel adapter. Now, the factory knows that this tote made it to the assembly line because remember, we tagged it with an RFID label and our FX9600 read it right as it passed. But traceability isn't the only valuable component of our RFID. When we combine that with our connected frontline portfolio, we can make our technician more productive. Once that tote arrived, the FX9600 sent this message to our 5G-enabled ET65, which instantly popped up the standard operating procedure. She didn't have to spend time looking at a manual or searching on her tablet. She has the operating procedure popped right up. Now, if there's a certain part within that manual that she needs, like the schematics, she can use Zebra Companion, one of Zebra's frontline AI solutions that can help her instantly find that page. This is powered by the ET65 and its 6490 processor. Now, in addition to being able to have the instructions, we can now use technology to automate the inspection of these boards. Once we take one assembly, rather than doing this manually, which could result in error, we're using the NS42. This is looking at that PCB assembly, and it is comparing it to several other good assembled PCBs. And we can get an instant verification that that was inspected and passed and can move on to the next stage. We can see that same scenario if we have an anomaly in that PCB, and this way we don't send a bad part onto the line. Now, if our technician has seen several failures, she might want to ask her manager what she's doing wrong to make sure we stop seeing those failures. We can easily communicate with Work Cloud Sync that's already loaded on our ET65. So she can send a message very quickly to her manager to have them come and check out what's going on. This shows the value of having one device that's capable of processing, of communication, and of AI. This process is going to follow through the entire assembly of that travel adapter. Once it's done, we're going to pack it into a box, tag it with RFID, put it in a shipping box, and send it off to the warehouse, which is where we're going next. We've arrived at the warehouse. Our adapters are en route. Now, according to our Oxford study, inventory management remains a key challenge for the warehouse, even though we've seen significant advancements in this area. The study also cited that RFID and mobile computers are some of the best technologies to improve inventory management. So let's see how this warehouse is using that technology. Our adapters have now arrived to the warehouse. This warehouse is equipped with RFID so that we can automate the capture of inventory as those pallets move off of the truck. We can see there was no manual intervention, and these RFID tagged adapters were inventoried immediately. Now, some of these pallets, they're going to cross-dock, and we're going to meet them when they get to the retail store. Others are going to stay here and get broken down so that they can replenish our picking area for online orders. Now let's see how mobile computers are improving inventory management while also making our warehouse worker more productive. Our worker is going to start their shift at the Zebra Guardian cabinet, where they always find a fully charged and available 5G-enabled MC9450. Once that device has been taken out of the cabinet, our Device Guardian access management software identifies that one device has been taken out. Now, our worker can scan their badge, and using Identity Guardian biometric facial recognition, she unlocks her device, and Device Guardian access management knows that she's the one who has this device. This is important because now the warehouse has accountability for where that device is, and our worker is accountable for returning that device at the end of their shift so that the next shift has a device ready and waiting for them. Now let's see how our AI software, which is embedded into this device, helps our worker more efficiently replenish bins. So she needs to scan the 2 barcodes that are on the adapters. Instead of having to scan one at a time, she can use SimulScan, take one trigger pull, and scan both of those barcodes at once, shaving precious seconds off of the replenishment process, which is now going to help us get to our picking bins faster and make the order picking process faster. Now that our travel adapters were efficiently picked in the back of the warehouse to replenish our bins, we're ready to start picking for online orders. This warehouse has equipped our worker with a hands-free wearable mobile computer. This is the WT6400, and it's paired to our RS5100 ring scanner. A BDC report from 2023 cited that using hands-free wearable mobile computers can improve picking productivity by up to 30%. So we're going to see just how efficient this is. Our worker is going to unlock their device by simply scanning their badge, and Identity Guardian securely unlocks it with her PIN code. And then she has a view of her picking order. She just has to look at her device. She can go to the bin, scan the tote, and pick her items for the online order that has to ship. Hands-free wearable computing isn't something new, but what Zebra does to make this most effective for warehouses is what we put into the design. Zebra has a human factors team whose entire role is examining how humans interact with technology. And they're looking at how best to design our technology for the best experience. So an example here is that this is an angled display on the WT64. So our worker doesn't have to move her wrist back and forth. That reduces the strain. We also have designed several mounts so that we can choose the one that's most comfortable. And several of the parts can be purchased so that workers don't have to share those items, which could be considered a hygiene issue. The other most important piece is that we make our wearables very customizable. I already mentioned the different mounts you can buy, but even with the ring scanner, we could have that mounted on the back of the hand, or we can even have a ring trigger, left-handed or right-handed. You could wear it as a lanyard as well. Plus we have different scan ranges that can be purchased. This is the value that Zebra brings to the picking operation. So now let's see how these orders get efficiently packed. Now our picked order has been brought to the pack bench to get packed up for shipping. The manifests I have here, I can scan using our FS42. So we're automating the packing process to make this process much faster and error-free. So once I scan the manifest, it pops up on my 22-inch ELO monitor, which is powered by the ZEC 500, turning that monitor into an Android computer. Now the packer can see the order they need to pack. Instead of me having to look at anything on the barcodes, all I have to do is put that right under the FS42, and I can see on the monitor that this is correct item that can be packed with the order. I have a second item that's in here that I'm gonna scan, and I very visually see on the monitor that this item was not supposed to be picked. We should only be shipping one travel adapter. This is great because now we're not wasting money sending the customer 2 items when they only needed 1. Now, once my item is in the box, I can pack the box and I can put on a label. What's great here is that we're using the ZT411 linerless label printer. That means when I take it off, there's no liner that I have to peel off before I put it on the package. This is saving me time because I'm not peeling off liner, and there isn't also liner all over the floor that has to get picked up. So I'm more productive, but in addition, this is great for the environment because we're not producing more waste. This is an example here of just one roll of liner that we've eliminated by creating the linerless label printer. And one additional value is that you're able to have more labels on that one roll, so we're not changing it as quickly as we would if we were using labels with a liner. So now that our adapter has been efficiently, environmentally friendly packaged, we can move on to an effective shipping. Now that our travel adapter has been productively packed and labeled, we have to make sure that we have traceability of it going on to the right truck for delivery. We've automated this process with our Aurora solution. We have our CV60 cameras mounted on a dock door, and this whole solution is PC-based, so the computer here is taking the capture of that barcode data, putting it back into the system, and then the system is validating where that package needs to get taken for delivery, which of the trucks. So we'll see how quickly we can do this. Once the package passes through the dock door, the cameras are instantly scanning all of the labels that are on that barcode. And what's nice about Aurora is that it can be mounted in different ways. We have it on a dock door, and this could be a conveyor that the boxes are coming through. It could also be a forklift that's passing through the dock door. So lots of different use cases for the Aurora solution. What's also nice is the combination of our technology. We're seeing the dashboard and the images of the packages being scanned on Zebra's KC50 Android computer. So now that we know that the boxes have been scanned for shipping as they leave the truck, they're gonna get loaded onto the truck for last mile delivery, and we'll revisit those as we get to that station. So our travel adapters that cross-docked from the warehouse are now en route to our retail store. But this isn't any old retail store. This is the modern store powered by AI. The reason that this is modern is because this store is using Zebra solutions to optimize their inventory, to engage their associates, and to elevate the customer experience. So let's see how this is done at the receiving dock. We have a manager here who's using their computer But this isn't a desktop computer. It's powered by the ET401 enterprise tablet. We have this paired to the ZEC 500, and Wireless Workstation Connect is now enabling a desktop experience on this monitor, saving the retail store money because they don't have to equip this manager with a desktop and with a tablet. An added value too is that when the manager needs to go out onto the floor, they can take their tablet with them. So the driver who's en route has called into the store, and the store has routed that call through the PBX using WorkCloud Sync. The value here is that now we don't hear any overhead paging, and we know that that call is going to come in right to that manager. Once they pick up, they're able to take that call, and the driver is saying, hey, I'm 30 minutes early. Will you be able to receive me if I show up? This is really easy for our manager because they're using WorkCloud Tasks. They can go onto their device and assign a task to the worker and say, no problem, we'll be able to receive that truck. Now that task was assigned to an associate who's enabled with a TC501 touch computer. This is our latest Android mobile computer. It's our most powerful device. It has a processor that's able to run AI software on device for certain use cases because of its very powerful processor. So let's see how the TC501 is making John more productive in receiving this pallet. He's unlocking his device with Identity Guardian and facial biometrics, and now he sees his task and is able to come to the pallet to receive the package. Our AI enabler barcode localizer is identifying all of the barcodes and instantly capturing them. Because we have integrated RFID in this device, we're going to do a double verification that the tagged items in the box match what's on the manifest. We can see here there's 28 barcodes that were scanned, but there's 29 items in the boxes. That means somebody shipped an additional item that they shouldn't have. John can use WorkCloud Sync to call his manager to come and troubleshoot the anomaly. Their ET401 tablet is also enabled with RFID. They can perform the exact same action, confirm there's an anomaly, and give John the direction to put that one to the side and go stock the shelves. A pillar of our modern store, if you recall, is elevating the customer experience. This modern store is using technology to do just that. So I'm a customer, and I've come to the click and collect counter to pick up an online order. I'm showing up with my barcode, and the associate's using the TC501 to capture my order. Now she's going to use the TC501 and our AI barcode localizer application to find my order very quickly. Now, because this is the modern store and they're elevating the customer experience, they're using digital signage throughout the store. My eye catches this beautiful 50% off ad on a Zebra travel adapter that's being broadcasted on an ELO 32-inch monitor. What's beneficial here is that this monitor has a ZEC 500 attached to the back, which is turning it into an Android computer. That's how we're able to cast this display ad on the monitor. It's an attractive deal that is getting customers who were coming in just to pick up an item to spend more at the store. So I'm going to ask the associate, hey, is there any in stock that I can order? She's going to use Zebra Companion's sales AI agent to check that stock.
Hey Zebra, do we have any of the Zebra travel adapters in stock? Unfortunately, we're all out. They've been selling off the shelf so quickly. But if you'd like, I can have an associate come over and help you order one on our self-service kiosk.
I would love that. So she's going to use WorkCloud Sync to call an associate who can come help me at the self-checkout kiosk so I can order this for home delivery. By equipping all of its associates with technology, the modern store has elevated my customer experience. John received his call on his WS301 wearable computer, and with the WS101 Bluetooth badge was able to communicate with the associate at click and collect. This is all enabled through WorkCloud Sync, but could be done on other devices. But enabling John with the TC501 is a bit of overkill because he's not doing a whole lot of different actions with that product. He really just needs communication and tasks. And that's the beauty of the WS301. It's a right-sized device for the use cases he needs, so that he's not an unserved hand, and now he's able to communicate and elevate the experience for the customer. So John has taken me to the self-checkout kiosk. This is an ELO i-Series Android touch computer that's able to be used for self-checkout. And because the travel adapter wasn't in stock, John's just helped me add that to the order, have it delivered. It has my address, and now I'm ready to get this sent over for home delivery. Since this is a self-service checkout, I'm able to do some of my own purchases as well. I just remembered that I needed to buy a t-shirt for an event I have tomorrow, so I'm gonna check on the touch kiosk computer if they have it in stock. What's great about this modern store is they're using overhead RFID reading. They have smart lens enabled, which is keeping an accurate inventory of the stock in the store. And that's why I'm seeing the t-shirt that I want is in stock. By clicking that, we've sent a task to an associate on their WS301 so that they're notified to go pick that shirt and bring it up to the self-checkout. Our associate's gonna use a TC22R RFID mobile reader to quickly find the shirt in my size and then bring that up to me so that I'm not waiting too long to get my shirt. Thank you. Now, this shirt is tagged with RFID. I'm gonna scan it with my DS82R to check out. And what's great is that the DS82R also read the RFID tag. So now not only do we know that this exact shirt left the area it was in, we were able to match up the UPC with the unique RFID identifier, so we know this exact shirt was also paid for and left the store. This improves our inventory accuracy. And now I can hit pay with contactless payment. If I have my card, I can tap and finish that payment. And I can head home, eagerly awaiting the delivery of my Zebra travel adapter. All right, we've finally arrived to the last mile of our journey. Did you know that the last mile is the most costly part of that entire supply chain process? It's because we're shipping individual parcels. They have to get loaded on individual trucks, and then we're making individual stops along the way. There's no bulk operation. Now, the use of technology across that entire process really helps to speed up and take some of that cost out of it. So let's see how our driver does that with the TC701. This is our latest Android touch computer. It has a very powerful processor that can run AI applications, and we have 5G connectivity, so we never lose a connection. Our driver has their route instructions, and they're able to see turn-by-turn GPS to make sure they get to their location. So we've arrived at our home, and we're now going to deliver our package. Using my TC701, I can easily find that package in my packed truck because it's equipped with RFID. So I can wand this over the package and now easily find the right travel adapter that I need to deliver. I'm going to drop this right in front of the house, and I have to now show proof of delivery. Instead of using the camera, I'm just going to use my scanner to scan that, which was able to take a full color picture. The beauty here, though, is that anybody can take a picture. But how do we know that we've captured everything that's required to really comply with proof of delivery? This is where our AI blueprint came in. When we look at our device, we can see it's asked a series of questions. The AI is looking to see if this is in spec. It's saying, does this contain people? Yes, it does. We just saw the homeowner picked up their package. We shouldn't be seeing any of their body parts in the picture. That means we have to take this over again. It's also asking if I delivered the package, which is showing, yes, I did. Does it include surroundings? No. That means I have to get more of the surrounding into the picture. And then it's saying, is the quality clear? So that's good news. It was a clear picture, but it's still not completely in spec. So now the driver knows they have to retake that picture and make sure we get all the green check marks to truly prove that we delivered this product on time when we said we would. And that technology there shows us how we're making the last mile much more efficient and cost effective. Through this journey, you can see that Zebra's asset visibility and connected frontline solutions play a critical role in optimizing the front line with intelligence, whether that's improving accuracy in the warehouse, optimizing quality in the manufacturing plant, elevating the customer experience in retail, or speeding up the last mile. Zebra creates new ways of working that makes everyday life better for our customers.